Good afternoon, America. Today is Sunday, September the 24th. It is 2:28 p.m. We're going to start off with this very short song written by David to his chief musician, Mashal, a prayer when he was in the cave. Um, he was in the cave, and most likely he was hiding from someone he loved very much, King Saul. Here it says, Michelle of David, when he was in the cave, a prayer. Okay, it has only two colors here, only 7 verses, two colors, orange for your faith and blue for salvation. Um, the last verse, verse 7, the first part is orange and the latter part is blue. All right, let's begin. I cried unto the Lord with my voice unto the Lord did I make my supplication. 2. I poured out my complaint before him. I showed before him my trouble. Amen. 3. When my spirit was overwhelmed within me, then thou knowest my path. In the way wherein I walked, have they privately laid a snare for me. 4. I looked on my right hand, and behold, but there was no man that would know me. Refuge failed me. No man careth for my soul. 5. I cried unto thee, O Lord. I said, Thou art my refuge and my portion in the land of the living. I cried unto thee, O Lord. I said, Thou art my refuge and my portion in the land of the living. Have you ever been to verse 4? I have to repeat verse 4. I looked on my right hand, and behold, there was no man that would know me. Refuge failed me. No man cared for my soul. Some of us have been there. 6. Attend unto my cry, for I am brought very low. Deliver me from my persecutors, for they are stronger than I. Attend unto my cry, for I am brought very low. Deliver me from my persecutors, for they are stronger than I. 7 is that split verse I was telling you about. The faith part says, Bring my soul out of prison, that I may praise thy name. The salvation part says, The righteous shall compass me about, for thou shalt dwell bountifully with me. That's security in God's protection. All right, so let's read it from here. I cried aloud to the Lord. I lifted up my voice to the Lord for mercy. 2. I poured out my complaint before him. Before him I tell my trouble. 3. When my spirit grew faint within me, it is you who knew my way. In the path where I walked, men had hidden a snare for me. 4. Look to my right and see, no man is concerned for me. I have no refuge. No one cares for my life. 5. I cried to you, O Lord. I said, You are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. I cried to you, O Lord. I said, You are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. Amen. Listen to my cry, for I am in desperate need. Rescue me from those who pursue me, for they are too strong for me. 6. Listen to my cry, for I am desperate. I am in desperate need. Rescue me from those who persecute me, for they are too strong for me. 7. Set me free from my prison, that I may praise your name. Then the righteous will gather about me because your goodness to me. Amen. Okay, and that did happen. After his run from Saul, it did come to pass for the king. All right, we were halfway through Matthew's 5. It has 48 verses. We stopped at 26 yesterday, and we will continue from 27. Excuse me as I fumble around with my books here. I will be reading it from both books as always. I will go over 23 to 26. Therefore, 23, therefore, if thou bring thy gift to the altar, and there rememberest that thy brother has aught against thee. 24, leave there thy gift before the altar, and go thy way. First be consoled to thy brother, and then come and offer thy gift. 6, agree with thy adversary quickly while thou art in the way with him, lest at any time, the adversary deliver thee to the judge. This is at any time. That time may be a long time. It may be a short time. But whenever that time comes, that the judge deliver thee to the officials, and thou be cast into prison. 26, verily I say unto thee, thou shalt by no means come out hence till thou hast paid the uttermost furlings. So let's read it from here. It says, therefore, if you are offering your gift at the altar, and there remember that your brother has something against you, 24, leave your gift there in front of the altar. First go and be reconciled to your brother, then come and offer your gift, 25. Settle matters quickly with your adversary who is taking you to court. Do it while you are still with him on the way, or he may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. 26, I tell you the truth, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny. So it is always best not to steal in the beginning, not to be deceptive in the beginning, because anything, America, that you obtain through mischief, through deception, through malice, you shall lose. Not only will you lose that which you have obtained, but you may even lose your freedom. Let's continue with 27. It says, ye have heard that it was said by them of old, thou shalt not commit adultery. I'll read it from here. Adultery. I told you, in chapter 25 of Matthew, our Lord covers a vast amount of information in areas. He talks about all kinds of things. He talks about salt and light, which we've read already. He talks about the fulfillment of the law. He talks about murder. He talks about adultery. He talks about divorce. He talks about oath. He talks about eye for an eye. He talks about loving our enemies. He covers a lot. He begins with blessing the people with the beatitude, which is a series of blessings. Okay, so now we're going into adultery. And here it says, 27, you have heard that it was said, do not commit adultery. Well, how do we commit adultery? Adultery is committed whenever any two of the opposite sex have intercourse and they are not married. They are committing adultery. Adultery is also considered whenever there is a married couple and either one of them defile the bed with another, that is committing adultery. If that individual defiles a bed with one of the same sex as they are, that is committing an abomination. I just wanted to clarify that. Okay. 28, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. So when a man looks at you and undresses you with his eyes, he's committing adultery in his heart. He may be sitting next to his wife, okay, when he does this. And women do the same thing. Women are just as guilty of the same thing. All right. The man may be walking with his wife. Okay, so, but I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her has committed adultery with her already in his heart. That's what happened before Bathsheba was even called to come to the presence of King David. He had already lust after her while watching her bathe herself when he stayed home. Instead of accompanying his army to the battle, he decided to stay home that day. He got up out of his bed, he looked out the window, and he happened to see Bathsheba, Uriah's wife, out on her roof bathing herself. Okay, and that's what he did. He looked upon that beautiful woman and he lusted after her, he lusted after her. And then that he just went into a little bit more deeper into sin by calling upon her to come to his presence. So he just got deeper into sin. Okay, so let's read 28. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. And this is all yellow pertaining to family. Now we're going to go into black. 29. And if thy right hand offend thee, pluck it out. If thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. For it is profitable for thee that one of thy members shall perish, and not that thy whole body shall be cast into hell. So if it's better to go into heaven with one less eye than to go to hell with both your eyes. It's better to go into heaven with one less arm than to go to hell with both of your arms. It's better to go to heaven with parts of you missing than to go to hell with all of you. Okay, and that's what it says here, 29. It says, if your right eye causes you to sin, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And like I said, there's only two destinations, America. After our life here on earth, there's only two destinations, and that is heaven or hell. Everyone prefers heaven. But see, in order to get into heaven, your life here on earth must magnify, must replicate the Lord himself. That's why he says, follow me. Okay? You must copy his behavior. You must obey his commandments. So if your brother sins against you, not once, not twice, but 7 times in one day, 7 times, you must forgive him. Okay? That's following the commandments of God. All right, let's continue. 29, still 30, still black. And if thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it from thee, for it is profitable for thee that one of thy members shall perish, and not that thy whole body shall be cast into hell. 30. And if your right hand has caused you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into hell. 30 and 32 were back into yellow for family. It has been said, whosoever should put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorce. Okay, 32. But I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, save him for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her, that is divorce, committed adultery. What is saying here, America? I'll read it again slowly. Starting from 31. It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorce. Okay. Then he says, but I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication. If you divorce your wife except for the reason of fornication, you are forcing her to commit adultery, cause her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her, even though she is divorced from the first husband, whoever marries her commits adultery, because your wife or your husband is your wife and your husband till you die. If they have not committed any adultery and you have divorced them, you have divorced them under the wrong terms, because in the Bible it says there's only one reason that you may divorce your wife, and that is for fornication. Okay. There is no such thing in the Bible as irretrievable differences, whatever that is. Okay? There's only one reason under the laws of God that we may divorce, and that's under fornication. Okay? If she or he has not committed fornication and you divorced anyway, you marry again or she marry again, you both are committing adultery, because you are still under the laws of God married to one another as long as you both are living. Did you understand that? Marriage was meant until death do you part. So, if you divorce for any other reason other than fornication, you are still considered married to your spouse under the eyes of God until death do you part. Okay. Let's read it from here. Divorce. It has been said anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. 32. But I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for marital unfaithfulness causes her to become an adulteress, and anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. That reinforces what the marriage institute that God created. He created it to last forever. Okay? Because those are the words that you repeated in the presence of God alongside one of his servants. With this ring I take this woman. You forsake all others for this woman or for this man. You cannot take that holy ceremony and use it for any unholy union. What's an unholy union? Two of the same sexes is an unholy union. And anyone who marries two of the same sexes is an unholy union, and that individual is not a servant of the Most High God. Period. All right, let's continue. 33. Again, ye have heard. Okay, 33 to 37 is back to Allah for commandment. Okay. Again, ye have heard that it has been said by them of old, thou shalt not forswear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thy oath. You should not say to God, God, if you get me out of this mess, I will do this and I will do that and I will do this and I will do that. God gets you out of the mess and you don't come through with your promises, your oaths to God. We make him a bunch of promises when we're in trouble. But when we're delivered out of our trouble, the promises have been forgotten. But you spewed them out of your mouth like vomit. Okay? Let's read what it says here. Oaths. Again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but keep the oath you have made to the Lord. I'm speaking to myself too, Father. That's right. Sometimes when I give the word, we speak to our own selves. And I don't mind admitting it to you. I don't mind at all. All right? So yes, when you make God a promise, he holds you to it. And whatever he has delivered you from, he will put you back in that same situation if you forget that which you have told him. Again, ye have heard that it has been said by them of old, thou shalt not forwear thyself, but shalt perform unto the Lord thy oaths. 34. But I say unto you, swear not at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne. You are never to swear. Even if you're in a court. In the court nowadays, they kind of want you to swear. Your answer should be nay or yea. That's it. That's it. That's all you owe that judge. A nay or a yea. Okay? 35, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool. You are never to swear by the heaven or swear by the earth, because heaven is God's throne. Earth is his footstool. Okay? So you are never to use those two as a swear in the midst of you swearing. Okay? Nor by the earth, for it is his footstool. Neither by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. All right, so let's go to 36. Neither shalt thou swear by thy head, because thou cannot make one hair white or black. You are not to swear by your head, by heaven, God's throne, by earth, God's footstool, or by your head, because you can't make not one hair, black or white, grow. Okay? But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these cometh of evil. Let's bring it here. 33. Oath. Again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but keep the oath you have made to the Lord. 34. But I tell you, do not swear at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne. 35. Or by earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. 36. Neither, and do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. 37. Simply let your yes be yes and your no, no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. Okay? 38 and 30, or 38 all the way to 48 is all green for love. Remember what that was? I tell you. Love for green. Joy, kindness, mercy, mourning, lament, comfort, compassion, peace, sympathy, humility, and charity. And in this particular sermon, the Lord spends 10 verses on this here topic, love. Let's hear it. 38. Ye have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. 39. But I say unto you that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. 40. And if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. 41. And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to him that asks thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. That means you are to give to a person. It doesn't matter who it is that asks of you. And for those who you loan to, you are not to ask for it in return. You are to allow them to come to you and return that which they have borrowed upon their own, without you making them feel guilty for it. Okay? If they never return it, that's fine too. That's part of love. God will reward you openly for what you do for the poor. Okay? 42. Give to him that asks thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. That means if you have it in your pocket, do not turn them away. Do not turn them away. Sometimes they may ask you exactly what you have in your pocket. Exactly what you have in your pocket. And you know, God uses these moments, America, to test us, to see what we will do. Okay? Everything in life is a test. And depending on how well you do on God's test will determine how he rewards you. I'll give you a testimony. Years ago, I was living in the public projects in Richmond, Virginia. The gas at the time was $4 a gallon. I guess everybody remembers that. That was kind of a nightmare in our world. gas went up $4 and something a gallon. So I couldn't drive my truck because I needed the gas to get to work. So I scrounged around and found the exact amount that I would need to buy a pack of Newports. So I had to walk out of the complex. It was called Fairfield Court in Richmond, Virginia. It was a distance from the complex, the unit where I was at, to the Compare Market on Melosian Turnpike. As I got up to the door of Compare Market, a man walked up to me and said, "Ma'am, would you buy me a loaf of bread and a can of beans?" So I immediately said, "Yes, I will buy it." So I went in the store and I brought not the brand name loaf of bread. I brought an off-brand name loaf of bread. And I chose to buy the brand can of beans with the pop-up lid because I didn't know the situation of the man. I didn't know if he had a can opener, where he was staying, but I just wanted to make sure that he would be able to enjoy and get to the beans inside the can. So I went and paid for those two items. Now, remember I said I had just enough to buy a pack of Newports. So by the time I brought the loaf of bread and the can of beans, I had $1 and something change left. So I went up to the customer service, and I'm looking now at the billboard, and I'm looking to see what is the cheapest pack of cigarettes. Now, I'm not used to smoking off-brand cigarettes. So I'm looking to see what is the cheapest pack of cigarettes that I can afford this menthol. So I was 3 cents short of the cheapest pack, so the woman let me go for the 3 cents, and I hurried outside to give the gentleman the 2 items that he had asked for. Sometimes, not only is God testing you, but sometimes it's not about you. It's not about you. Sometimes it's about the individual. God is doing something with that individual, and he has chosen you to be the example. Okay? So I did not see the man for several months. When I saw him again, he looked clean as a whistle, like he had just come from church. I believe it was on a Sunday when I saw him. The first time when he asked me for the bread and the can, he looked it terrible. He looked it disheveled. He looked it like he hadn't taken a shower. He looked it stressed. He looked it sad. He was just a totally different looking man when I saw him several months later. It was just a total transformation. And we greeted each other with a hug. I mean, it was just so wonderful to see him the way I saw him a couple of months. So sometimes God uses you to help another see him in their life. You see? So it's not all about you all the time. Sometimes God uses you to teach your brother or your sister that he still ranges, that he still hears them, that he still provides. Okay? And God blesses you. Just a couple weeks ago, this is Testimony Day. It's good for you to hear these things. I was at Walmart, and I had gotten to the point where I told the lady where to stop for my groceries. So as I was getting close to my limit, I started selecting just certain things that I had that I needed. Okay? So as I'm putting the stuff on the counter, the young lady says, "Ma'am, are you going to buy the rest of this stuff?" And I said, "No, ma'am, I can't." So there was another young lady behind me who I did not even notice. I noticed somebody was there, but I didn't look up to look at their face. I was just so busy trying to make sure I get the things I needed with the limited money that I had. And the woman said to me, the young woman, old enough to be my daughter, said to me, "Ma'am, I will buy the rest of your groceries for you." That's what she said. This was this month here. So I looked upon the young lady. Now I'm seeing her face. And I began to thank her because I had much in my cart. Okay? She didn't say, "Ma'am, I'll get some of your things for you." She said, "Ma'am, I will get the rest of your things for you." The young lady paid $62 for my groceries this month, for the rest of my groceries that I left in the car. So God always rewards you openly. He always has your back all the time. Huh? It's worth getting to know him. It's worth worshiping him. It's worth obeying him. Huh? It's worth listening to his word. Why? Because it helps you to be able to do what his son did. It helps you to be able to follow the footsteps of his example, which was his perfect son. And this is why he spent so much time on love. Okay? That young lady showed me love. I showed the older gentleman love. Okay? So we have to learn how to show each other love. That's why our Lord spends so much time on this topic of love. So let's read it all over again. Ye have heard, this is love now. Ye have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. 39. But I say unto you, that ye resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. Okay, I'm going to stop you right there. My name is Brenda Guerrero. There are certain people in this population that I have the highest regard for. My elders. My elders. My elders. Did you hear me? There are certain people in the population of the world that I have the highest regard for. It could be my elder on a corner. It could be my elder in the church. Whoever is my elder, I have the highest regard for. So yes, my elder could slap me on my face, and yeah, I would turn around and give my elder the other side. But I can honestly tell you, America, that would not be the same response for someone young enough to be my kid. If a pastor slaps me, I can turn the other cheek and let him smack that. Why? Because that individual is a servant of the Lord Most High. And if they're not a servant, they're a false prophet, I can still not react because of who they are or who they're trying to be. Okay. The president of any kingdom could smack me and I would give him the other cheek. So there are certain people that I would give the other cheek to. My elders, my elders, my elders, a servant of the Lord, a king or a queen. Everybody else don't get that same thing from me. I'm not Jesus. I'm just trying to follow him. I'm doing good so far. Okay, let's go. 40. And if any man will sue thee at the law and take away thy cloak, let him have that. Take away thy coat, let him have thy cloak also. 41. And whosoever shall compel thee to go a mile, go with him twine. Don't just go a mile. Go 2, 3, 4 miles. Okay? 42. Give to him that asks thee, and from him that would borrow of thee, turn not thou away. Now let's talk about that for a minute. When you give somebody something, you should make them praise the name of the Lord. Not every gift will get that kind of response. If you give them 50 cents, thank you. That's what you're going to get. $1 or $2, thank you. Give that man $20 or $30 or give them $10 and they will start shouting Jesus Christ all over the corner, wherever you meet them at. Give them something that will make them praise God. Don't have it all open so for the world to see. Fold it out and give it to them. They'll remember every person and who they got that bill from. If you give them $1 or $2, you're going to get a thank you. You give them $10, $15, $20, you're going to get a shout out. Not you, but you want a shout out. You want them to shout praises to your God. Okay? So if you're going to give like Jesus did. When he told them, go and fish and get your taxes from the mouth of that fish, there was enough there to pay the taxes for his disciple and for himself. When you give, you should give enough to get a shout out. And let that person shout the name of the Lord. Okay? All right, let's continue. 42. Ye have heard, 43. Ye have heard that it has been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thy enemy. No, sir. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despicably use you and persecute you. Yeah, you can kill a person with kindness. You can literally kill them with kindness. Literally. No poison, nothing. Just sheer, genuine kindness from the pit of your heart will kill that individual. They won't be able to stand you. Okay? It said, I'll read that again. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them that despitefully use you and persecute you. 45. That you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven, for he maketh his sun to rain on the evil and on the good. And this is true. And sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. That is also true. Okay? For if you love them which love you, what reward have ye? Do not even the publicans the same? Even the devil loves his own. Okay? 47. And if you salute your brother only, what do you have more than others? What do ye more than others? Do not even the publicans do? 47. Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father which is in heaven is perfect. So let's take it from here, from 38. Eye for an eye. You have heard that it was said, eye for an eye, and tooth for a tooth. 39. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. 40. And if someone wants to sue you and take your turnip, let him have your clout as well. 41. If someone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. 42. Give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who wants to borrow from you. Okay. Love your enemies. 43. Love for enemies. You have heard that it was said, love your neighbor and hate your enemies. 44. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. 45. Why did they not write that all the way? It says, but I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despicably use you and persecute you. Here it says, but I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. That is they just split that whole verse. I always tell you, America, when something is wrong. That's why I call this book the book. They just okay, 45. That you may be sons of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and send rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. 46. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? 47. And if you greet only your brethren, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? 48. Be perfect, therefore, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Okay, I certainly hope that you got something out of the reading for today. I hope that you paid special attention to how you express love. I hope you pay special attention to what is considered fornication and what is not. If you have a husband or a spouse, uh, if you're having problems in your marriage, if it has nothing to do with adultery, if it has nothing to do with fornication, then that means that you can save it. Okay? And you ought to try your best to save it because you made God a promise. You promised him that you would take this man and forsake all others. You promised him that you would take this woman and forsake all others. Not for a little while, forevermore. So you must remember the promise you made to God. And how your relationship with God will determine how you relate to your spouse. If you have no relationship with God, then you're going to be one who's going to be quick to walk away from your marriage. But if just one of you know God, then that individual is going to try hard to keep that marriage going. And America, it is worth keeping it today because what we have to pick from today it sucks. You can't find a good man and a good woman today like you could 30 or 40 years ago. Okay? Most of the time it's because the women want themselves and the men want themselves. So that leaves very, very few for the rest of us. So if you already have somebody in your corner, take a look at them, thank God for them, give them a big hug, apologize, and try to make that thing work, America. Okay? In the meantime, may the peace of God be upon thee. May the protection of God surround thee. May the will of God for your life, not your will, but his will for your life, come from thee. Until the next time, my name is Brenda Guerrero. Thank you very much for joining us here at Spiritual Order. Have a good day.